This is not an informational video today. This is just me going out on a hike. I would encourage anybody planning to stay here to go by, to go and read the regulations, not go by my video.
The hills are calling where the lakes are my home. Leave the stress behind, find peace in my mind.
Hi, it's February 23rd, 2025, and I am out in the Sunol Wilderness for a quick day hike. I figured I'd hike up to the backpacking camps and, I don't know, maybe film a little video. It's cloudy so far. I understand from somebody that actually spent the night here last night that it rained a little bit. I do see some sun trying to peek in, and the clouds are kind of moving east, so maybe I'll luck out and I won't get rained on. I've filmed this before. I've got a whole video on the backpacking camps on the channel, so that's not going to be this video, but yeah, maybe we'll still have some fun out here. So far I've seen just a couple people. The parking lot is I don't know, about halfway full, and I've run into some turkeys, so we'll see what the rest of the hike has to bring. I've got my Elbrus with me today. I've also got the Hollow King, and in lieu of camping today, I figured I'd go up to the backpacking camps. There's usually a lot of fallen timber up there, and there's a fire pit, and maybe I can do a knife video up there. I'm not going to be starting any fires, but I can get a little practice with these knives, hacking away at some wood. As you're coming up towards Little Yosemite, there's a garbage can here, should you need it. It looks like they've refinished the picnic tables here, and there's an outhouse, some signage and a map, and some more garbage. Pretty cool, you have this right in the Bay Area. Now, Alameda Creek in the lower stretches does have fish. I don't know if they get all the way up here. It would be cool to see a steelhead or something. Looks like there's a fire out here. So eventually we're going to be way up there. Oh, is that a tent? That might even be a tent out there. Now, I could get to where I'm going and find somebody in the campground. I guess that would put an end to any knife video that I plan to do. On the way back, I can go this way, and it'll take me through some single track, but it'll basically put me back where I want to be. Okay, so I'm coming to the turnoff. Normally I would just go straight up that little trail, but for information's sake, we're gonna go take a look at the signage. Well, it looks like the signage is a little worse for wear. We got a Ohlone Wilderness Preserve backpacker camp, which it says 6 miles. Ooh, that's farther than I thought it was going to be. McCorkle Loop 4 and Cerro Overlook 2.2. Okay, so I am admittedly being a little bit too lackadaisical on this hike. I remembered it being 4 miles to the backpacking camps, not another 6. I've already gone 2 miles, so I had 8 miles in my head, but I thought that was the round trip distance. Oh. This is one of those do as I say, not as I do moments. You know, always plan and know where you're going. I know where I'm going. I just didn't, you know, it's just not a big deal to me. And I didn't bring enough food. Probably didn't bring enough water. So, my original thought is it would take me 2 hours to get to the backpacking camps. Maybe that won't be the case. It's a pretty steep uphill once you start making your way there. I've been out for just about an hour now, and the plan is to go out for 4 hours with, you know, in total hiking, and playing around with the knives in between. There's plenty of fallen timber here, but I don't want to do that outside of the campgrounds, so we'll see. If I can make it to the gate in the next hour, then I'll just go ahead and push forward. It's funny how running local trails kind of gives you a false perspective on how much effort it's really going to take to do something. You know, I mean, I've run up here, I've hiked up here, and I'm just so familiar with it. I'm like, oh, you know, it's just a simple little day hike, but could end up being 12 or 13 miles round trip. Okay, I'm at the gate, barely over an hour, so maybe my memory's not as bad as I thought it was. It looks like McCorkle is closed for some reason, but that's okay. We're going this way. Yeah, see, no campfires permitted, so I'll go chop up a bunch of that wood, but no fires permitted. Cathedral Camp Oakview. So I had spoken to a fellow at the gate who said that he had camped at Oakview, and I didn't remember Oakview. And now that I'm thinking about it, since there's no campfires allowed, maybe I won't do any chopping. There's no point in chopping up a bunch of wood and just leaving it there for somebody. So I think I'm going to go check out the Oakview campsite and the Cathedral campsite, because I'm not familiar with those two. This is cool. This is part of the park I haven't been in, so it's nice to discover new stuff. Usually I go up that way towards Del Val. Never come out over here. This is pretty cool. Although I gotta imagine it's probably filled with ticks. Running water when the water's going. The thing about the backpacking camps, up top there's actually non-potable water. There's a faucet with non-potable water that you can filter. Huh, pretty cool. So I guess this is Cathedral, and there's a bathroom down there. Oh yeah, I see it. there's the outhouse, and here's the campsite. This is cool, secluded. Most of the campsites here have benches and picnic tables, so that's always the cool thing. Sweet. I don't know how I've missed these all these years. You know, the thing about this is it's not on the main trail. Most of the other campsites are somewhat on the main trail. This is secluded. Now, you can take McCorkle out and go all the way out to the other side of the park. Which, if you do that, is definitely an 8-mile loop. That I remember for sure. Okay, here's Oakview. And I guess you could kind of consider it like lower Sky. Because Sky is going to be... So, this is very similar to Sky. You could call this like lower Sky. Sky is going to look out more towards Del Val. Sky, I believe, is going to be right up there. I see there's somebody camping over there. Eagle Eyrie is probably right over by that rocky outcropping. Well, this is cool. This is much cooler than what I had planned. I mean, I had planned to come out and just go up to the backpacking camps, you know, because why not? And I've been up to them plenty of times, so nothing new. So it's always really cool when you can come someplace that you know fairly well and still find new stuff. Here's Oakview. It doesn't have a picnic table. It looks like it just has the benches. But the benefit is that it's going to be a little more secluded than the other backpacking camps. You may get some noise, I would suspect, from people as they're hiking the fire road and as they're going to Little Yosemite. So I must say, I mean, I've run into quite a few backpackers this weekend, and I am pleasantly surprised to see that. You know, I think it's great that people are out here using the resource. But I think I've run into at least a half dozen people today that were backpacking, and that's more than I've ever seen at one time. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so I was so excited about seeing, you know, the new campsites that I completely missed the poison oak that's sitting here as I was coming up, right along the trail. Yeah, right along the trail. Jeez. I'm fortunate that I don't seem to be very susceptible to poison oak, and I don't know if that's because I grew up on the East Coast playing in poison ivy. I mean, I kind of grew up in the sticks, and you know, outside of our properly groomed yard, the forest was just filled with poison oak, and we played in it all the time. I don't know if I built up some sort of resistance. Maybe I'm just careful. I do tend to wipe myself down with Technu when I think I've been exposed to it. Who knows? Knock on wood, I won't come home today with poison oak. Okay, I'm back at the gate. We're going to head up towards the lower backpacking camp. Only about an hour and a half in. Not so bad. You know, I'll go up for another 30 minutes and then maybe I'll turn around. I probably lost about 20-25 minutes hanging out at the lower backpacking camps. Okay, this last bit up to the lower campsites is the most steep. It's hard. But at least it's not sloppy and wet. I've come up here when it's been sloppy and wet, and geez, you're slipping and sliding everywhere and not making any uphill progress. Okay, that's the camp that I was planning to go to. You can see all that fallen timber. Now I thought there was a fire ring there and that fires were allowed, but they're obviously not. So I'm just gonna go up, check it out like I had planned, and then head back. Okay, so we're basically at where I would consider to be the start of the backpacking camps. Sycamore being the first of the upper camps and the one that I had planned to go to. You can see the outhouse up there. Just past that, there's water. But let's go check out Sycamore. Oh, Sinto's telling me it's 3.5 miles to this point, even with my shortcut to those lower campgrounds. So I don't know what the signage was on about, 6 miles, but maybe I read it wrong. I mean, it was kind of worn off, but it didn't seem that way. If I was going to the upper camps, sure, there would be a little bit more mileage involved, but not another 3 miles. You know, you've got the outhouse there, and then you go up and, you know, there's 2 campsites there, and then you eventually get over to Sky, which is right over there. There may be 3 campsites there. I can't remember in total. But the goal today was Sycamore, so let's go down to Sycamore. Maybe I'll take a gel and a swig of water and then head back. So there you go. Mission accomplished. I'm not sure I would choose Sycamore as a campsite. You know, it does have that one little area where you pitch your tent, but it's tiny, 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 tiny. It's got pretty good views though. And if you're going to come out here and bivvy, then you know, probably a pretty good spot. Sunto's telling me 3.5 miles, an hour and 38 minutes, which again, I probably took 20-25 minutes out to visit those lower sites. So yeah, my memory's not as bad, not as bad as that sign had me believe. And you know what? It's I'm here and I haven't hit the 2-hour mark yet, so I'm just gonna keep going up. You can see though, with all this fallen timber, this would be a good place to do a knife video. That was my original plan, but with no fire pit here, I'm just going to leave nature as it is, even if it has been cut up by the district rangers. Okay, so Stars Rest to the left, Eagle Eyrie, Sky Camp, and Hawk's Nest are to the right. I am feeling a little peckish, so I'm going to go ahead and scarf down a gel. Pack it in, pack it out. A little odd for an outhouse, but okay. I guess maybe they're referring to the toilet paper. Backpackers, pack it in, pack it out. There is no garbage pickup service within Sunol Backpack Camp. I guess they just want to make sure people aren't throwing their trash in the latrine. And I guess maybe toilet paper as well. I would encourage anybody planning to stay here to go by, to go and read the regulations, not go by my video. This is not an informational video today. This is just me going out on a hike. Okay, hawk's nest. A little bit better, but again, right on the trail. Up ahead is Eagle Eyrie. Here's the non-potable water. Interesting. Don't remember there being two spigots here. Limited water supply, please use sparingly. This, I wonder if this is potable. That's really interesting. I don't remember that second spigot being there, and it doesn't have a sign saying that it's non-potable, so I wonder. Okay, so the main trail goes up that way towards Del Val, and it'll go, all the way out to Livermore, but this is out to Eagle Eyrie. This way goes to Eagle Eyrie and Sky Camp, and once I get to Sky Camp, I'll turn around because the views will be amazing. And here's Eagle Eyrie, which is one of my more favorite campsites. I mean, I guess you could pitch up back there under that tree. That would be kind of cool. Or you could pitch here on the flat spot. Of course, it's on the trail. Wow, that's a pretty big group. Del Val and Livermore out that way. San Jose is down that way. And the campsite is right over this little bluff. Poppies are starting to come out. Poppy is the California state flower. I guess it's the California poppy. And probably in a couple weeks, some of these hillsides will just be littered with poppy blooms, especially on Mount Diablo. After we come up over that little bluff, you come down into Sky Camp. And it doesn't look like there's much here, but okay, so we keep going down. And again, Bay Area is lousy with ticks, so when you do these hikes, just check yourself often to make sure you've got none crawling around on you, especially with these trails being so narrow and the grass being nearby. Okay, so we're getting down into the actual camp. Frankly, I don't think I've ever taken the trouble to actually hike down into here. Yeah, I've never actually hiked to the actual campsite. I've just hiked to that upper camp. So this is really cool. And I would say I have a new favorite campsite. It's tiny, but it is really, really cool. And so good enough for a one-man tent, which is what I'm usually in. So I'm leaving Sky Camp. I am just at the 4 mile mark, 4.08 miles, and just over 2 hours, 2 hours and 4 minutes. So doing exactly what I'd come out here and plan to do. So the way back is going to be a little quicker. I'm basically going to be backtracking my steps, but I'm not going to go to the lower campsites. It'll be a little bit quicker. The upper trail is much more scenic than the lower trail, and it's my preferred route when I'm out here. Now, I'm gonna say it is a little shocking at how brown the hills are. Usually this time of year they're like an emerald green, like you're in Ireland or something. But you know, we had those atmospheric rivers come through, which dumped a whole lot of water, but we haven't really had a lot of consistent raining. So the grass is already dried up, and I can't imagine that's going to be good for the fire season this year. And for those that are always interested in what kind of gear I've got on me, I've got my Osprey Exos 38, which is what I use for day packing. I've got a first aid kit on me. I've got the Work Tough Gear Elbrus, as I mentioned earlier. I've also got the Work Tough Gear Hollow King, which I actually haven't shown before on the channel. I've got my REI Peak UL carbon trekking poles, some OG Ultra Superiors. I think these are the Superior 2s. And I just happen to have the Vehement Mongrel on me today. I'm wearing my street clothes, so I basically just put all, carrying all my EDC gear with me, and I've been carrying that knife a lot lately. Although I might stop because I'm not a huge folder fan, and I'm not a fan of how they tend to tear up your pockets. So blade show's coming up, and I'm expecting to get a new sheath, and so I'll probably go back to carrying my my Kohler Cass or Cass Kohler collab, whichever way you want to put it. And I really think that's probably it for the gear. I've got these light poly gloves on, which I don't remember who made them, and they're not labeled, or if they were, it's since worn off. I've got the what is it, the Uber Cool hat, which I'm always wearing this. I typically have the ratty one with the Dark Timber logo on it, but decided to throw this one on today. This is brand spanking new. This is my backup hat. And I think that's it. I've got a 2-liter water bladder on me, which 2 liters typically last me about 4 hours, so I should be good for this entire hike. So I've just come down through Eagle Eyrie and Hawks Rest, and coming down to the latrine. And as I said, I didn't really bring much with me. I mean, I'm home, so this is kind of and I'm home and I'm not running, so this is kind of a carefree kind of a hike. So I had a gel in my pack. I've probably got another gel in my pack somewhere if I actually feel I need it and go looking. But it's early season, and I could afford to lose a few pounds, so I figured I'd come out here with just water, some minimal food, and just to endure it and try to knock some of those winter pounds off. I think I'm definitely going to be rucking more this year because I've been having issues with my calves, and so running is kind of out right now, but walking is what it takes to get into the backcountry. So as long as I can still do that, that's where you're going to find me. There's Sycamore, and now we're heading over to the steep section. Not too bad when it's dry. Now, as I said, this trail down here is closed, but if it weren't, you know, you could take this all the way back to the ranger station. There is no water that way. There are a few cow ponds, and I've actually had to filter using my Grail filter one of those ponds. And let me tell you, you don't want to do that. Not if you can help it. Okay, so I'm quickly descending to the Sunol Wilderness Road. Almost back down to the flatland, and I'm gonna take another look at that sign. Maybe I misread it. Maybe it's supposed to be 0.6 miles. We'll see. Let's get real close to it. I'll tell you though, it is quite a bit warmer down here. Easily, I would say it's easily 5 degrees warmer now. The sun's out, and I'm starting to bake a little bit. Camp Ohlone Road, which is where we're going to start our hike back. The park boundary, there's private property down that way, and then the park headquarters. So back to the car is probably about 1.5 miles. And let's see, what does it say? Aha! Didn't see this. It was 0.6 miles. Okay, that's more in line with what I was thinking. We're going to take the Sunol Wilderness Road back to Little Yosemite, and then we're going to take the Ridge Trail from there. Looks like people are starting to go up the hard way. That is a super steep trail there that you can access from Little Yosemite, but it is super steep going up to McCorkle. Okay, so Canyon View Trail. This will take us to the upper trail, which I spoke of, or we can stay low. I don't really feel like bushwhacking, and the last time I went through this trail, there were parts that weren't cleared, so you were bushwhacking and tree hopping, but you know what? Let's do it. Actually, there's a lot more folks up on this upper trail than I expected. And I don't know, maybe it's because it's all burned away. But these used to be covered in brush and trees. So this is a pretty narrow section of trail. And if you're watching this and you're new to hiking and you don't know the etiquette, just know that uphill has the right of way, just like with cars. So if you meet somebody on a narrow section of trail like this and you're coming downhill, the expectation is for you to step off. Wow, this trail is so clear. It used to be just a bushwhacking mess. I am just blown away. Lots of fire damage. Doesn't look like it was too bad though, just in this little section up here. Looks like there's a tree down. It also looks like folks have been going around, but maybe some folks have been going through. It's been cleared. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so it looks like I'm getting back to the connector. So right below me here, which you can't really see behind the trees, is Lower Yosemite. That's where we were earlier. And there were those picnic tables, and there's a trail behind the picnic tables, and this is that trail. So we're gonna hit this trail, go through the gate, and then follow the crest trail all the way back to the car. Now, just like, you know, pretty much everywhere, at least in the East Bay, when it comes to the regional parks, you know, there's horse troughs everywhere. Horseback riding is pretty big here, and it's not unusual to come across somebody on a horse while you're hiking. So, and again, so let's talk a little bit more about etiquette. Again, if you're new to hiking, when you come across the horse has the right of way. So, you know, get off trail, talk to the rider, find out what the horse is comfortable with in terms of, you know, your distance and stuff. You know, let the horse know that you're there. But on trail, the etiquette is typically horse, people, and then bikes. So this is Serra Este Road, and that's that steep trail that I was talking about earlier. Back when we were down there, and it was saying Serra Este, I think it was like 2.6 miles or something. This is that trail. So we're going to continue out on Canyon View, and we're going to get some pretty good views. So I'm about 3 hours in right now, 6 miles in total. That's about another mile back to the car. It's pretty rolling along the Canyon View Trail. There's Little Yosemite. So this is far and away my favorite trail in the park, and you can see why. Just gorgeous views and a few cows. I think I'm probably looking at 7.5 miles when I get back to the car. Starting to feel it just a little bit. As I said, I'm trying to do this on minimal food. You know, I'm shocking my body right now. It's like, ooh, what is this? What are we doing? Oh, I don't know if I like this. Oh, wait a minute. I remember this. We haven't done this in a while. So, sort of going through that right now. And get back to the car and have a nice meal sometime later. There's the parking lot. And straight ahead there is the latrine that I parked next to. So I'm like right there. So we're almost there. So we'll be going, we're coming down here, going left and going down this trail. And that actually might be McCorkle. You know, it's funny, as much as I hike these trails and I know where I'm going, I don't have a great head for trail names. Which can be a problem sometimes when I find people that are lost and I try to help them back to their car. Now, I would not say that this is a difficult trail. I would say it's kind of medium difficulty. It is single track, so it's narrow. It's sandy. It does get quite a bit rocky, and it is a bit off camber in places. So a couple of the spots are a little sketchy. I've seen a couple of families here today that that seem like they didn't know what they were getting into. If you've got toddlers and stuff, you can get through it, but you know, it is a little sketchy, and if they're not sure of foot, it'll be scary for them. But I guess it'll be a good confidence builder once they get past it. Okay, so Canyon View continues that way. It's a little bit sketchier. It'll take you to the parking lot, and then I would have to backtrack. I was right, this is McCorkle, so I'm going to take this back to the car. Heading down McCorkle's the fastest route back to the car. It bottoms out right next to the creek, and then it's like, you know, 2-minute walk to the car. If I was running, I'd probably continue on Canyon View. That'll take you out towards the ranger station, and then you just cross the bridge over the creek over there. You can see the parking lots are pretty packed right now. Coming down to the corral and back to the road. Okay, so back at the bridge. So if you come out here, in addition to having the toilets, it does have a little picnic table there. And there are group picnic areas down there that I think you can reserve. Back at the car, Strava puts it at 7.5 miles, 3 hours 27 minutes with 1,600 feet of climbing. It's pretty much what I came out here to do today. I thought it was going to be 8 miles in 4 hours, so pretty close. I didn't get any nice video in, but that's okay. I've got a backyard for that. If you've watched to the end of this, thank you. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you for coming along. Now, if you've seen my video on the Elbrus, my introduction to the Elbrus, one thing I did not mention was a cool feature of the sheath, and that is that it has snaps, which I love snaps on sheaths. Easy on, easy off. Got this Velcro, snap, boom, sheath is off and in my car.
The hills are calling where the lakes are my home. Leave the stress behind, find peace in my mind. With the still water flowing, lines I'm throwing, loneliness is not here. There is life everywhere.